Now imagine that this solid circle right here is your mind or brain. The brain is divided into two parts: the conscious mind, which is 10% of our mind, and the subconscious mind, which is a whopping 90% of our mind. The conscious mind is where your critical thinking lies. It's the logical mind. It's the analytical mind, and the part of the mind that questions things. I like to also refer to this mind as the monkey mind, or the one responsible for all that mind chatter that you have going on in there. Now, the subconscious mind is a highly influential part of us. This is where our beliefs are held. This is where our intuitions arise from. Like when you walk into a room and feel like something is just off, that pit in your stomach feeling that you have when something just is not right. This is where your passions arise from. Your creation and inspiration also are derived from the subconscious side. This is the mind that stores the skills also like driving. Have you ever driven from one point to another? Like driving from work and home? And once you get home, you're wondering, how did I get here? It's the subconscious mind that assures all your muscles move and turn the steering wheel. They push the pedal at just the right pressure to assure you're in the speed limit, and also reads all the stop signs and traffic lights to assure that you get home safely, all while your conscious mind is off on the side having a conversation about what to cook for dinner, or the conversation you had with your friend, or maybe even that last argument you had with your partner. These two portions are divided. Just like driving the car, one part is doing one job and the other doing another. As children, these two parts are very free-flowing, communicating with each other. The conscious mind has yet been fully developed. However, by the age of 11, this critical factor, which is also called a gatekeeper, solidifies in the mind. This is what protects any ideas that don't align with your beliefs in the subconscious side to pass. So basically, what happens is someone tells you, you're pretty. The conscious mind will think about it. Are we pretty? Ask the gatekeeper. The gatekeeper will then look through the subconscious mind and see, nope, we were never told that we were pretty when we were young. And basically return back to the conscious mind, nope, we're not taking this in, we're not pretty. And therefore we reject the idea that we're pretty. This is a very fast and unconscious reaction. So our belief patterns that are held in the subconscious mind are also created by three main subparts within us. We have the adult self, which is basically the here and now. We have the parent self, which is derived from your parental figures, or doesn't necessarily need to be your parents. It could be teachers, priests, or those that had authority in your childhood. And then there's the child self, which is exactly that, the inner child. This is the part of you that has those urges and desires. They eat all that ice cream and binge out on Netflix, even if we had to go to work the next morning and maybe want to lose that last 10 pounds. This is the part that has no acknowledgement for the long-term effects of your decisions. It purely acts on pleasure and what feels good in the moment. So in a well-balanced, perfect world, all three of these parts are in harmony and balance with each other. The adult self is extremely resourceful and able to mitigate between the parent and the child and keep the harmony between it all. But unfortunately, we do not live in a perfect world. And no matter how wonderful or not your parents were, society had a major influence, and these parts and their development become conflicted with one another. This is basically called transactional analysis. And I'm going to give you a little intro to it. So when someone is not imbalanced in their subparts during an argument, we can easily see what subpart dominates. So basically, in conflict with two parents, it would sound a little bit like this. As you're coming home from a hard day of work, you say, "You should have washed the dishes. Why didn't you wash the dishes?" And then the other one responds, "I was working all day. Why can't you respect me? I work hard. You know I don't have any time. You should have asked me nicely, or at least told me earlier. This shouldn't be a big deal. And then you reply as, well, you should have known how mad I would be. I work hard too. I always wash the dishes. I am sick and tired of having to always wash them. I shouldn't have to do it. I shouldn't have to do this all the time. You should do more around the house, and so on. So as you can see, there's no resolution when we're basically talking with two parents. So the parent figure is the should have part of you. They usually say you should have done this and you should have done that, or why didn't you do this and why didn't you do that? This is where the saying comes, don't should on me and I won't should on you. Because this is the parent of our subparts. And unfortunately, it usually doesn't have any resolution when these two are trying to come to one. So with a parent and child dialogue, it's going to sound a little like this. You say, you should wash the dishes, and why didn't you wash the dishes? The other says, I didn't feel like it. And then the response from the parent is, I work so hard, you have no consideration for me. I always wash the dishes. I'm sick and tired of having to always wash them. I shouldn't have to do it all the time. You should do more around the house. And the other says, stop yelling at me. You're so mean and angry all the time. Take the stick out of your butt and relax. And then the parent says, relax? How can I relax when my partner doesn't care about anything besides themselves? You should be more considerate. And again, no resolution. And now we get to the child-child dialogue. And this, I'm sure you can guess what it would sound like. As you walk through the door and look at the dishes, you say, I don't want to wash these dishes. And then your partner says, well, I ain't going to wash them either. And then you say, God, just wash the dishes for once in your life. Wash them now. All you do is watch TV. And then your partner returns back, why do I have to do them? You do them. I always do them. I don't want to wash them. As they sit there watching TV. And so as you can tell, it's just a tantrum going back and forth, no resolution, just bickering. And now finally we have the adult-to-adult conflict. And this is a much more mature here and now conflict. Basically, it would sound like this. I see you didn't wash the dishes. Was it a busy day today for you? Your partner returns back, yes, it was. You can leave them. Don't feel obligated to do them. Was it a busy day for you too? And you return back, yeah, it was a busy day. It was hard. I'm very tired and kind of cranky right now, so I'd rather not do them. And then your partner says, okay, I feel really tired too and cranky. Let's just relax together. Leave them for tomorrow. It's okay. It's not going to hurt anything leaving them in the sink. Basically, it's a very aware conversation. Not even a conflict, because you ask questions. You don't make assumptions. You're asking questions to validate that what is truly conversing back and forth is based on reality, not on a made-up idea of not being loved and accepted, basically, because they don't care about you and that's why they didn't wash the dishes. The true reality is that they just were tired, and so were you. So basically, this is a two-way conversation, not a one-way conversation. And now, unfortunately, if one person is in adult state, the best thing that they do is wait for another adult person to come out and speak. Otherwise, it's going to sound just like this if an adult speaks with a parent. So now as you walk in, feeling pretty aware and in the moment, you say, I see you didn't wash the dishes. Was it a busy day for you today? And your partner returns back and says, yes, it's always busy. Why don't you just wash them yourself? And now you're kind of perplexed and you're like, it was a hard day for me too. I was very busy and a bit cranky now. I'd rather not do them and save them for the morning if you don't want to do them. And your partner returns back, I worked more hours than you. I woke up at 5 a.m. You should just wash them if you're going to complain about it. At this point, you're a bit perplexed and confused because from an adult view, you're not complaining. But when someone is coming from a parent perspective or a perspective that's not really here and now. They hear only that which validates the self, which at that moment is their parent self. Now, just like the adult to parent, the adult to child is pretty similar too. It's a one-way conversation. And now at this point, I'm sure you can kind of predict how this conversation will go. Not far. So as you can see, what's best to do is just simply wait for the adult to come out. Because having a conversation with a child or a parent is not going to get far. You're not dealing with the true, here and now, adult self.